I thought I'd also use this time to quickly discuss some of my opinions on the different workers' parties that exist today in Britain and try and tell a little bit about them. By far the largest is the Trotskyist Socialist Workers' Party. Anytime there's any kind of a strike or big Marxist event in England, you will see them with their little newspaper stands. They're very well organised. They're very big on strikes and joining protests and things like that. And they also host the Marxism Festival, which is probably one of the biggest and most well-funded events on Marxism and politics, left-wing politics today. They are regarded by those outside the party usually as being undemocratic and having some quite juvenile lines on certain topics. But the majority of socialist parties in Britain agree on most points. They tend to criticise each other on the basis of how they act rather than, their party programmes, how they behave within themselves and interact with other groups. So the Socialist Workers' Party is the biggest, though not necessarily the best. They have a focus on action rather than introspection, and some would say that they tend to kind of waste a lot of energy and kind of make mistakes. So that's not necessarily my opinion. I don't think they're the best party out there. I certainly don't plan on joining them. But they're there. I think the second biggest is the Socialist Party of England and Wales, and they're another Trotskyist group. They're more democratic within themselves, but they subscribe to quite hard Trotskyism, and they do good work around the areas where they are popular and they have a heavy presence. I've got friends in that party. They're nice people. Again, I don't really. It's not a party I would choose to join. Really, they're a less bad version of the Socialist Workers' Party, in my opinion. Next, we have the Communist Party of Great Britain, Marxist-Leninist. They are a kind of a hard Stalinist, maybe a Maoist party. Again, they support Stalin, Mao, Marxist, Leninist, or ML groups, if you will, the Naxalites. They support Gaddafi. They support what's his name, Robert Mugabe. They probably support Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. And they're okay. There's plenty of opinions they have that I agree with them on. I don't really know what they're like as an operational group. But I like I said, there are no real parties in Britain that I would say I join. I mean, like all parties, they can be quite sectarian and bicker amongst themselves. But another Stalinist group is the New Communist Party. I think they're quite a small group. They take most of the same lines as the Communist Party of Great Britain, Marxist-Leninist, on many things. Like I say, I don't really know too much about them, but they're quite a small organisation. But they are active. There's an international, I can't remember what it's called, but it's an international conference of different kind of official communist parties, and I know they represent Britain on that, as do the Communist Party of Britain, who they take what some of my comrades would call a soft Stalinist line, but basically they follow the Soviet line all the way through, basically kind of Khrushchev through Gorbachev, I would say. There are about 1,000 people. They produce the Morning Star, which is one of the most popular left-wing papers, one of the most widely available. And they have a youth league called the Young Communist League, which I think I'm technically a member of. But yeah, so there are about 1,000 people. They're quite busy. They hold lots of interesting events at the Karl Marx Library in London, which, where is that? I can't remember, but definitely if you live in London or near London, look up Karl Marx Library on the internet. 'Cause it's definitely worth visiting. Um, Not just for its selection of books, but for certain artifacts it holds, like the banner used by the International Brigades of Britain in the Spanish Civil War. So there's some interesting stuff there, so check them out. There's the Communist Party of Great Britain Provisional Central Committee, which is they produce the Weekly Worker, which is my favourite left-wing newspaper. They're more of a campaign for a united democratic communist party, sort of having all different factions but can communicate democratically. And they're a very small group, about 30 people. And there is, and these motherfuckers make my blood boil, the Alliance for Workers' Liberty, who they're social imperialists. Basically, they support NATO in the Libya war. They basically support imperialism at all terms. They call themselves third camp Trotskyists, but basically they're just left liberals. I highly question kind of socialist credentials, really, if they support imperialism and the bourgeois state. Um, they're very proud of themselves because they agitate with union with workers' strikes and things. Managed to score a couple of little victories, but I would recommend just staying away from them. If you want to join, if you're a Trotskyist and you don't want to join the SWP, just join the Socialist Party. That's fine. And then there are other groups like the Spartacist Leagues and the International Bolshevik Current, and they're like hardline Trotskyist groups. They're quite friendly people. I do like some of their newspapers and some of their views on things. Anyway, that's all the parties I can name. When joining a communist party, basically, don't jump into decisions. There's so many different ones. Read their newspapers, read their party programs. Try and get to know some members, kind of see them in action, see what you think of them. There's no rush to commit yourself to any group, but just be ready for the air of sectarianism for whatever group you join. If you join any communist party, and all the communists and all the other communist parties will hate you. And that's the sad truth about the left in Britain. But yeah. Anyway, I hope this has been kind of informative. This is just a filler because I know I'm not going to be doing any videos for ages. But next week, expect some Marxism Explained, Soldiers of the Five Continents. I'll be taking the time over this week to make some videos or write some stuff about whatever's going on in the news at the moment, which I haven't watched for a few days. I'm really behind on. But yeah, anyway, until I broadcast a new video, have a good week, everyone, and catch you later. Red salute.